I'll give you a brief introduction on what GE is doing in its digital transformation journey. Just by a show of hands, how many of you are aware of what GE is doing in terms of the digital transformation? Not many. So as you know, GE is a large conglomerate. We have different industrial work vectors, right from aviation, locomotives, oil and gas, healthcare. And we realized very early on that there was a lot of duplicative effort going on across. We were trying to solve the similar problems in different industries. So there was definitely a need for a common platform. And so it started out as a journey of how do we actually tap into the data that we were capturing and drive insights to improve our own products and services. And just to give you a little bit of background, I've been at GE for 4.5 years now, and that's when they decided to invest into a software center of excellence. And then it started out more as an internal platform for GE to use across its industries to eliminate duplicates. But we knew that as we worked on it, that this could be used even externally. It could be used by any industrial company. And the vision is really around building a platform which can be used by any company that's doing manufacturing, field services, maintenance, and so on. It's not restricted just to the verticals that we are on. And that's the platform called Predix. What I've done at GE is really help build out data sciences as a practice for GE and help lay out the vision of how to use data to drive insights, to build products that can be used both internally within GE and externally by any industrial company. Now, and productizing data science seems like a very simple concept, but for those who are in the analytic world, it's that a model is typically built to solve a very narrow, specific use case. It's heavily domain dependent. But how do you take a model that's built for a jet engine and make it applicable for any rotating machine? It's almost impossible to do. But what we were able to identify, having worked across these different industries, is the Lego blocks. How do we actually get the Lego blocks for a model that can then be used to train on different domain data sets and actually helps you in your data science journey to go faster in your data science journey? In my new role as leading innovation for GE, it's really about building ecosystems with universities, startups, with governments, institutes, to help us run faster with our digital industrial transformation. Because Predix, at the end of the day, is an open ecosystem. We will provide the developer tools, we will provide industrial analytics, but at the end of the day, it's about the apps that get built on top of it across different verticals, whether it's aviation or agriculture. It doesn't need to be the industries that GE serves in. So I want to give you a little bit of introduction of what big data means from an industrial perspective, or what data science mean from an industrial perspective. And then Vivek here is going to dive a little bit deeper onto Predix side. In terms of big data, right, when we think about big data, we typically think about from the consumer perspective, whether it's images or weblogs and information that gets captured by Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, right? But from an industrial perspective, big data takes on a whole new meaning. You look at the volume of data that's being generated. Like, to give you an example, every 2 seconds, a GE-powered aircraft takes off. And in the older engines, we could capture data at the rate of, we used to capture only 3 snapshots of data, whether it was a 1-hour flight or a 14-hour flight. But with the newer engines, with more sensors, we're able to capture data at the rate of 1/16th of a second. So the volume of data gets big very rapidly, and that's just for jet engines, but we have subsea equipment, healthcare machines, we have locomotive engines and power generating machines across the world, right? And then you start looking at the volume of data. The volume of data covers the whole spectrum, right from images to some maintenance records and text format service records to actually retiring we take our engines from cradle to grave, end to end. So it's a whole spectrum. The variety is big. The last thing I would say is, in an industrial world, and this is true for most of the industrial companies, is there is a lot of ancient data, right? We have data that is not just a few years or decades old. We have data that is century old. And what that helps you do is to be able to look at this data and improve the design for our future products. The other thing from a data perspective to drive insights is the domain knowledge. And this is something that we've struggled with is, as you know, data science is heavily domain specific. It's not just about identifying patterns or building algorithms that show correlations. How do you apply domain knowledge to actually change user behavior or to improve the performance of your machines, right? And domain knowledge is intrinsic for industrial data science to work, and we struggle on building out that skill set or to find the people who bridge the gap between mechanical and computer science. And the last part is more around design thinking. I think in the previous panel somebody addressed it, focus on the user. I can build the best algorithm possible, but if the factory worker on the manufacturing floor does not use it, it's not going to drive any impact. And how do you actually make a factory floor worker trust a machine when he has been doing his job for 20, 30 years, and now you're telling him to use a machine and say, oh, this machine is going to fail, so you need to do something about it. So design thinking becomes very, very crucial in the industrial IoT space. But the impact that you can drive when you do data science right in the industrial world is huge, right? Just a 1% improvement in performance for our aviation industry. It results in billions of dollars of savings. So the impact is huge. And when we started looking at Predix as a platform, what we saw is that it is something that we could help our customers, our current customers, but even any industrial company to help accelerate their digital transformation journey by using Predix. So with that, I'll hand it over to Vivek to actually dive deeper into Predix.
Thanks, Beena, and thank you guys. But before I start, let me just tell you that you guys might be thinking, what these two guys from GE are coming here and doing and talking about Predix, what the hell it has got to do with me, right? And that's true too, because there are so many other platforms out there in the world, and they are also doing the similar thing. What we are trying to do at GE. So let me just relate it to a little bit, what you guys are trying to do. And, you guys might be using a platform like Amazon or Google or, whatever else. What we are trying to do at GE, and this is not a sales pitch, by the way, you can go and read a lot about Predix on internet right now. There is enough information available, but what we are trying to do at GE is, is something, so we are not only talking about Internet of Things, okay? We are talking about Internet of really important things, right? And really important things for us is just what Beena talked about, jet engines. There is a power coming in this room, and there is a chance, highly likely chance, that there is some steam turbine or a gas turbine sitting somewhere which is generating power and it's distributing it, right? So these are those dirty, noisy machines which actually work behind the scene, and no one wants to touch at it, right? So when we are trying to connect those machines together and mine the data out of it and bring out a meaningful information, we realize that a platform like Google or platform like Amazon may not really make sense. I'll give you an example, right? So talk about these big turbines or wind turbines or the solar panels or jet engines or gas turbines or CT machines or loco stuff. when you go to service, when the field engineer goes to service these particular dirty, noisy machines, right, everyone, when they come back and record that service, does it in a different way, right? So the turbines may have a blade. Some field engineer, when they come back and record what they did, would refer blade to BLADE, while someone else may refer to BL3, while someone may say just BL, right? Or someone may say some different, his own preferred way. These are all industrial parts, and they are in recording this information as to what they did to fix that particular issue on that industrial machine in very unstructured way, right? So somebody is doing it in text format, somebody is in PDF format, some is Excel, some is email, and all sorts of things. Now, you can't use Google's algorithm to mine what has happened if you want to build a knowledge base out of that, right? You all would know that. So you need to build a very specific algorithm, which may be similar to what Google is doing, but the algorithm has to be yours, very specific, which understands that, hey, this particular issue has come and this fix was applied and this was its fix effectiveness ratio, right? And when you do that, what you're doing across the, think of a power plant, think of a company like NTPC, right? They have several power plants. Now, if the engineer is going and trying to, fix things like this, they are actually creating a knowledge base in the company, right? So tomorrow, if you get into a similar issue, you could actually come back and say, hey, I think the system itself, like AI, which we talked about, the system itself can come back and say, hey, looks like I have seen this issue earlier in the past. This was the fix applied. Why don't you just try doing that instead of, starting from scratch? So this is what we call it as a knowledge base building across the industry. I'm just talking to you about the turbine, but then there are these dirty, noisy machines which are emitting data out, every seconds or 16th of second and stuff like that. So we realize that if we have to play in industry and if we have to create a Facebook of machine like a Facebook of human, we need a different platform, and which we have to do it ourselves, so that it gives us an ability to extend that platform. That's when Predix came up into the existence. I was fortunate enough to be the part of Predix ever since Predix started its 0.1 version, what Predix is now, right, which is Predix 2.0 or something like that. So, what exactly it does. So let me just not get into, can we just put up the slides, please, here? Or the GANs. So what GE did primarily is, initial few years, we also had a lot of inefficiency. We are a big manufacturing shop, right? We have 400 factories ourselves wherein we produce jet engines, loco, and whatnot, right? So we thought, instead of preparing a food and, taking out to the world and asking them to try it out, first taste our food and make sure it is tasty, and then ask others to taste, right? So that's what we did in these three transformational steps. We created this platform and we said that, hey, just let's try this within GE and see what it does. Last year we were actually able to save near about $730 million productivity within GE, which is a huge number for GE, which is like $250 million, right? So the idea is that, so let's just, and then we are trying to go and, helping the customer in the world. And so what exactly is this platform? Let's just a little bit get deeper, because I am actually coming between you and your lunch, right? And even our lunch. So I just don't want to bore you guys. So see, the idea of this platform is the machines or the assets are emitting data. You can capture the data, and sometimes these assets are very, very far. Your oil rig is about 20 kilometers further down the shore, right? Your wind turbine sit at some hill where, neither Wi-Fi works nor GSM works. Now, how will you get the data from that? These are the challenges, right? So when you start to get into such things, you will have a very specific way of collecting data. You are driving a loco, or the loco is actually getting into a tunnel. It is bound to get into a tunnel. You are bound to have a connectivity loss. How do you handle that? So, which means that it starts from what we call it as edge. Edge in our sense is the device which are spitting out the data, all these dirty, noisy machines which I talked about. So then there has to be a way of collecting very specific, very specific way of collecting these data. So we have done a lot of work on collecting this type of data from these devices where the places connectivity is there, is not there, it is losing, not losing, and all sorts of things. Now you got the data, the 3 V's of data which Beena talked about, right? Velocity, variety, and volume. You push it onto the cloud, which is a cloud-based platform which we are talking. What do you do with that data, right? When you're pushing it onto the cloud, you have that 1/16th second of a data, every 2 seconds the flight is like terabytes, and I can't even count it, zettabyte, and probably after that type of data it is. So far what has been happening in the industry is that as a human, we are taking a call that this data is important and this is not important. And then we are discarding it. Who are we to take a call? Let actually analytic decide what data is. So you present this data into the analytics. In order to present the data, the huge amount of data which we talked about onto analytics, it is something you need to create an infrastructure. That infrastructure is on the cloud which GE has. And then you should have a set of services which are actually doing all sorts of things. So, without getting much deeper, a set of industrial services, and then a set of analytics which are utilizing those services to create an app. And then you need to give this power in the hand of you or in the hand of the customer who knows their use case, what problems he or she is getting, and then how quickly someone can create an app. So this is exactly what Predix does. Right? These are the 3 pieces of it: connect machines and sensor, and in a secure way. I think, the question comes in when I start to connect thousands and millions of machines together, what's the security? So that in a secure way, develop it on the cloud, and then, create app or give this app economy or ecosystem like what Google has. You can create an app. Now someone can create an industrial app using industrial operating system, what we call it as Predix, right? And then grow this ecosystem not only to you, but to someone else. So now what's your interest? Your interest is that if you start to use an industrial platform like this, what you get is you get a set of industrial analytics. Some are free of cost, some are charged, and all sorts of things are different. But then you get a set of industrial analytics which are already there, which you could utilize in your stuff, be it in agriculture, be it water or waste management and stuff like that. And you could also get a chance to actually put your analytics onto GE's platform. So that's another way of it. It's 2-way. Now in this process, if you have developed a very specific algorithm or app or whatever, consider this as a marketplace. Consider this as an Amazon for your goods. If you develop this particular product, you can sell it on Amazon, right? So if you develop a particular set of very, very unique analytic and you want it to reach to the rest of the world, right, and in all the industrial application, you could actually put it onto GE, and your analytic will be listed as a catalog. And not only you, there are folks in Israel, there are folks in Japan, there are folks in United States and Europe. They are all doing it. We call it as something that independent software vendor, the ISV. So we help you free of cost to bring those analytics on Predix. Why? Because there is both the interest, right? Your interest is that you get a big marketplace across, right? Our interest is that we enrich our platform. We are just going and getting that, we are kind of binding others to our platform. So it's win-win for both. And that's why we do it free of cost. So, what I would say is that, with just kind of quickly summarizing, and all these pictures are there on the internet. I'm not showing you anything which is not publicly available. Go to predix.io if you have not gone. Don't go to predix.com because it's more commercial website. You guys are all technical. Go to predix.io and just try to just try to register it. It's all free of cost for some time. I think it's for 60 days or something. And then anyway, we'll work with Sir and others to see how it can be done for longer. But and try to experience what this platform is. Try to see what are the services available on the catalog versus what are available on the analytics. And then if you have a good idea or good analytics, you get the world's finest marketplace from GE. And anywhere anybody in the world is trying to build an app can use your analytics, and the revenue can be shared. It is all related to money, right? So it shares with GE and someone who has built the analytic or the app, right? So that's what Predix is all about. I'll just stop here, right? I mean, if you guys want to take a question and answer, I'm okay. Otherwise, we can just wrap it up.
Okay. What about the hardware platform which we should be using with this Predix?
Yeah, that's a good question. So you could use Raspberry Pi, Intel Edison board and stuff like that to bring the data for a prototype. The edge part which I talked about is actually nothing but a SDK, the software development kit, which is a Java based. So you just download it on Predix website, predix.io, install it on your laptop, and your laptop becomes the edge device to get the data. So it is pretty flexible until and unless you have an industrial application where you need an IPC based device. So there are different types of devices which comes from GE. We call it as a field agent and stuff like that. So that's a different conversation. Yeah, so that's a good question. And the question is, do you also provide a cloud infrastructure like AWS or Azure or no? So the answer is no. Predix is a cloud-based platform, but it is not coming from an IaaS layer, infrastructure as a service layer. It comes from a platform as a service layer. So you could not go and get a VM from predix.io and install and do whatever you want. You could get an instance of a PaaS, which is Predix, and then which is a set of services, and you could use this service to develop your application primarily from a security. And if you develop an application and you want to bring it back to GE, it has to follow all sorts of checklists, security, and stuff, so that we make sure that the industrial data which you are going to handle on is safe and secure. Okay, so you have a question? Yeah, please.
How do you connect your machine remotely place a machine where internet is not possible, it's not available?
Right. So see, there are two ways. One is that where internet is not available, which means that either the Wi-Fi is not available or the GSM or GPRS is not available. The third option could be S-band to get the data. But where nothing is available, right? Anything, you could actually have to do it offline. Right. So there is no magic actually which works here, that if there is no internet, then we create an internet and do that. We have options of Wi-Fi, GSM, GPRS, S-band, or offline. So you start to store the data offline, do offline analytics also. So we have a component in the edge which does edge analytics, so that you don't have to bring the data all the way to the cloud. But then at some point in time, you actually bring the data to the cloud when you get connectivity. Right. So I'll just quickly end up by saying that one of the real use case where I am very passionate, and there was a good talk about passion here. I am very passionate about, which I am applying using Predix, and any of one you are interested can join, is using Predix to get the real-time water quality data for the river Ganges. Right. So on the other side of it, I wear another hat as a chairman of the IoT panel of Ganga rejuvenation. So you will see such things. The reason why I'm throwing up this idea is that where all you can apply. It's not that Predix is just for industry and you would need steam turbine or jet aircraft engine only, then you can use Predix. It's not like that, right? So we have a big problem in terms of national mission of Clean Ganga, which is kind of running all together and making sure that the Ganges river basin, which is 2,225 kilometers all the way from beginning to the end, is cleaned up, which is not yet cleaned up. There is a lot of work has been done, but we are trying to see that how an IoT can play a role here, and how we can bring the data in the real time, bring it back to Predix, and then do some sort of a set of analytics on top of it. Give that data in your hand so that the ideas what you have can come up and build a set of app which can actually utilize that and see if that can create any difference. So that's, with that thought, I'll just leave with that thought, you guys, and maybe I'm available after that if there is any question I could take up. Thank you so much.